Welcome to Senior Health Naturally, a channel dedicated to the health and well-being of those over 60. Here, we bring together the ancient wisdom of the East and the modern science of the West, offering simple, practical knowledge that could truly save your life. If you find this video helpful, please like and share it, and join us on the journey of caring for your health every single day. Every year, hundreds of thousands of older adults suffer strokes, often without warning. But what's even more alarming is this: the first warning signs may have already appeared. You just didn't recognize them. Did you know that just a few seemingly harmless morning habits could silently triple your stroke risk? In today's video, we'll help you spot these habits and change course before it's too late. The earliest signs of stroke aren't always loud or obvious. It's not severe headaches or full-body numbness. It's often subtle disruptions in your daily movements. Have you ever reached for your toothbrush but your hand missed the mark? Taken a sip of water and it spilled slightly, even though your hand wasn't shaking? Struggled to button your shirt because your fingers just felt off? These tiny things aren't just old age. They may be signs your brain is experiencing a temporary lack of blood flow, TIA, a silent warning that a stroke could be approaching. If caught early, you can prevent long-term damage. So never ignore these small changes. They might just be your body's first alarm bell. Now, imagine a peaceful morning, sunlight peeking through your window. You slowly open your eyes after a long sleep. Your body feels heavy, your head a bit cloudy. Then, out of habit, you suddenly jump out of bed, and within seconds, the room starts spinning. You feel dizzy, unsteady. You grab the wall to keep from falling. Have you ever felt that way? One of my patients, Mr. Tran, age 72, told me he had always been active and independent, but one afternoon, after waking from a nap, he stood up too quickly and fell in the bathroom, hitting his head on the sink. Thankfully, there was no serious injury, but that fall triggered a series of problems: loss of confidence, balance issues, and months of physical therapy. You see, a fall doesn't always come from weak legs. Sometimes it starts with how you get out of bed. After 60, your cardiovascular system loses flexibility. When you're lying down, blood pools in your lower body. If you stand up too quickly, your blood pressure can drop suddenly, and your brain might not get enough oxygenated blood in time. The result? Dizziness, loss of balance, and if you're not careful, a dangerous fall. This is known as orthostatic hypotension, a very common condition among older adults, yet often overlooked. As a doctor, I always tell my patients, there's nothing more regrettable than a fall, simply because you stood up too fast. At this age, a broken bone can mean months in bed, and sometimes recovery is not guaranteed. So what can we do? The answer is simple: slow down. Tomorrow morning, don't rush out of bed. Stay lying for a few seconds. Wiggle your toes, flex your ankles, and listen to your body. Then slowly sit up. Let your feet touch the ground. Stay seated for 10 to 15 seconds. Only then, gently stand, using support if needed. Give your body time to adjust to gravity. Don't force it to get going as if it were still 25. I always say, slow doesn't mean weak, it means wise. And sometimes slowing down is exactly what protects you from the things you never saw coming. So tomorrow morning, try this small change. Don't just wake up with awareness. It's a simple act of love for your body, gentle, thoughtful, and deeply respectful. Now let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed how your morning begins? Is your first instinct to grab your phone, scroll through a dramatic news story, check a worrying message or email, all before you've taken a single sip of water or a deep breath? I've met many patients over 60 who do exactly that. One retired gentleman once told me, "I always start my day with the news." I thought it was necessary to stay updated, but the more I read, the more anxious I felt. My heart would race, my breathing would quicken. I just assumed it was part of aging. The truth is, right after waking, our bodies are in one of their most fragile states. Cortisol, the stress hormone, is spiking. Blood pressure is rising. The brain is still groggy. If you add emotional pressure in that moment, through negativity, worry, or stress, you're setting the stage for a silent storm inside your body. So I want you to try this tomorrow morning. Before you touch your phone, just pause, sit still, take a deep breath, look out the window, sip warm water. Let yourself rise gradually, like the sun, never in a rush. Even just 10 minutes of quiet in the morning can be the most powerful medicine for your brain and heart. And sometimes, slowing down is the beginning of a truly healthy day. 2. Sitting still too long after waking up. Thank you for staying with me. Now, I want you to picture this. You've just woken up. You don't rush out of bed. You sit there, scrolling your phone, reading a few headlines, and then sit still for another 10 or 15 minutes, lost in thought. You might think, I'm not doing anything, just relaxing. But that quiet stillness, especially after lying in bed all night, is a hidden danger that very few people recognize. After age 60, our blood vessels aren't as elastic as they used to be. Blood circulates more slowly, and it tends to pool, especially in the lower body. When you sit still for too long without moving, blood collects in your legs. Circulation slows. The heart must work harder to push blood back up to the brain. And for someone with any risk of vascular blockage, this is when a clot may start to move. I once treated a 68-year-old woman, very healthy, no heart history. One morning, she was sitting in her kitchen reading the paper, as usual. But when she stood up to grab a glass of water, she suddenly became dizzy, slurred her speech, and collapsed to the floor. Her family called emergency services just in time. She survived a serious stroke. Later, as we looked into her routine, we realized that every morning she would sit still for about 30 minutes after waking. No movement, no warm-up, just stillness. So I want to gently but sincerely say this to you. Don't wait until you feel unwell to start taking action. Begin your day by awakening your body with small, mindful movements. As soon as you open your eyes, roll your wrists, move your ankles, stretch your shoulders. When you sit up, roll your neck, then stand up slowly. Take a few steps around the house. This isn't exercise. It's a morning greeting to your circulatory system. Your body doesn't need much, just a reminder that you're alive, that you're moving. And that rhythm of gentle movement might just protect you from a stroke, even on the calmest of mornings. Now think back to a typical morning. You wake up, maybe feeling a little tired, brush your teeth, check your phone, drink a hot cup of coffee, and start your day. Seems normal, right? But have you noticed something? Many people, especially over 60, wake up and don't drink a single drop of water. The thirst is buried under habits. Coffee first, pills first, news first, and water? It's often forgotten completely. I don't share this to alarm you, but to help you understand your body better. After 7 to 8 hours of sleep, your body is already dehydrated. Through your breath, your skin, and the natural metabolic processes of rest. Without hydration, your blood thickens and flows more slowly. For aging vessels, this isn't just tiring. It raises your risk of blood clots, which can lead to a stroke at any moment. I cared for an elderly man, a retired school teacher who lived alone, very disciplined, took his medicine on time, ate well. But every morning, he started his day with a strong black coffee. No water, no breakfast, just caffeine and the news. One morning, he felt a headache and shoulder stiffness, but blamed it on sleeping the wrong way. By noon, he collapsed in the bathroom. Thankfully, the stroke was mild, and we were able to intervene in time. When I asked about his routine, I realized that daily lack of hydration, repeated over months, was the final drop in the bucket. So yes, a warm glass of water in the morning may sound small, but to me, it's a silent lifesaver for the heart and brain. Before coffee, before your pills, before the news, drink water. Not cold, not iced, just warm water to awaken your vessels, soften your heart, and tell your body, we're beginning the day safely and completely. Many older adults say to me, Doctor, I'm just not hungry in the morning. Or, I have coffee, take my meds, and I'll eat around noon. It may sound harmless, but after 60, skipping breakfast is no longer a healthy option, especially if you're taking blood pressure, diabetes, or blood thinning medications. Just imagine your body after a full night's sleep. Already dehydrated, your blood sugar is low, and your brain needs energy to function. But then you pour in a cup of coffee, speeding up your heart rate, and take a pill, changing your blood pressure, without giving your body even the smallest amount of fuel. How can your system handle that? One of my patients, a woman in her 70s, was sharp and energetic. She believed skipping breakfast helped her stay fit, thinking it was a modern, healthy lifestyle. But one morning, after taking her meds, she felt dizzy, her heart racing. She tried to push through until she nearly fainted and had to call for help. We found she had severe hypoglycemia, a dangerous drop in blood sugar from combining fasting with medication. Please understand this. Your brain runs on glucose, blood sugar. If you don't eat, your brain runs on empty. And if you're taking medications that affect blood pressure or sugar levels, your body becomes unstable, like trying to drive with no gas. So, what's the solution? You don't need a full breakfast buffet. Just something with nourishment, half a boiled egg, a spoon of yogurt, a few soaked almonds, a slice of whole grain bread. Enough to tell your body, I am nourished, I am supported, and for the brain, that is life itself. So next time you think, but I'm not hungry, ask yourself instead, is my brain silently calling for help? I once worked with a woman in her early 70s who constantly felt tired every morning. She told me her mind felt foggy, her memory was slipping, and she sometimes felt a little dizzy. But medically, all her numbers looked fine. Until I asked her one simple question, do you take deep breaths in the morning? She looked at me, surprised. No, I never even thought about that, she replied. So right there in the clinic, we tried it together. She sat upright, inhaled deeply through her nose, held it for a few seconds, and slowly exhaled through her mouth. We repeated it 7 times. And when we finished, she smiled and said, "I feel lighter. That's so strange." I call that waking up the brain through breath, a simple way to boost circulation, bring oxygen to the brain, and gently awaken every sleepy cell after a long night's rest. So tomorrow morning, before you do anything else, try this. Sit still, close your eyes, inhale deeply through your nose, hold for 2 to 3 seconds. Then exhale slowly through your mouth. Repeat 5 to 10 times. It's your way of telling your body, "I'm ready for a new day." A small habit, but one that could become the foundation of clarity and longevity. Thank you for watching until the end of this video. Stroke doesn't always strike like a lightning bolt. Often it begins with something subtle, a toothbrush that doesn't land quite right, a sip of water that dribbles, or a morning without hydration. But if you recognize the signs early and change small habits, you can prevent the worst from happening. After 60, good health isn't about luck. It's about daily awareness, starting with how you wake up each morning. If you found this video helpful, please share it with someone you care about. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss another valuable tip. Because sometimes a small action can save a life. We'll see you in the next episode